Governorate of Musandam is the place of beauty and tranquility and the island of secrets and history. Food aid convoy enters Syria's eastern Ghouta as assault pauses. And Trump and Kim is to hold a historic meeting in May. Those were the headlines, and now for the news in detail. The Governorate of Musandam is the place of beauty and tranquility and the island of secrets and history. Its beaches tell the stories of Hormuz and unique goods. On top of its high mountains are treasures of eye-catching natural scenes. Its mountains showcase the uniqueness of rock formation and its beautiful colors. The Governorate of Musandam also contains many ancient cemeteries, which its tombstones depicted decorations and pictures, which tell much about the life in Oman in the old ages. Satan Old City also attracts visitors for its unique Omani architecture with its towers, walls and stone houses. Khub al-Shamsi near Dabba is another natural place in the Governorate. The Wilaya of Dabba, with its modern achievements and ancient castles and houses, is a great treasure of archaeology that tells much about deep-rooted ancient civilization in the place. Around 4,000 archaeological items were discovered in the Wilaya, and the archaeological excavation is still continuing. A ceremony was held at Al-Sharqiyya University in the Wilaya of Ibra in the Governorate of North Sharqiyya to crown the winners at Students' Debate Competition. 117 male and female students from various university colleges and schools in the Sultanate took part in the contest. The National Youth Committee aimed through this competition to enhance the culture of dialogue and debate among youth and develop their critical thinking. The Governorate of Dhahra won the first place at the level of schools, while the College of Applied Sciences in Ibri achieved the first place at the level of universities and colleges. The student Iman bint Hilal al-Saqtiya from the Governorate of Dhahra won the best speaker in the competition at the level of schools, while student Rasha bin Khalifa al-Rahibiya from Sultan Qaboos University won the best speaker at the level of universities and colleges. Under the title Thank You, the Omani Photography Society organized an artistic night. The event came to celebrate its achievements at local and international levels during last year. The society honored a number of photographers who won international awards in global contests in the field of photography last year. Still to come in our news bulletin. Conservationists are rebuilding coral life destroyed by the strongest storm to hit Puerto Rico in nearly a century. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman Television. An emergency aid convoy crossed front lines into the besieged rebel enclave of Eastern Ghouta today, Red Cross officials said, as a war monitor reported a pause in Syrian government airstrikes backing a massive ground assault. The International Committee of the Red Cross said the aid convoy passed through front lines and was heading to the enclave's biggest town, Douma. No further details were immediately available. The onslaught in Eastern Ghouta has killed more than 1,000 people, the medical charity Médecins Sans Frontières said yesterday. The war monitor, the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, today gave a death toll of 931 civilians in the campaign. US President Donald Trump has agreed to a historic first meeting with Kim Jong-un in a stunning development in America's high-stakes nuclear standoff with North Korea. Standing in the front of the White House, South Korean National Security Advisor Chung Wi-yong announced the first ever meeting between a US president and a North Korean leader, which he said would take place by the end of May. Chung had recently returned from Pyongyang, where he met Kim, who said expressed his eagerness to meet President Trump as soon as possible. Trump hailed great progress in the push to persuade Pyongyang to end its nuclear weapons program. News of the summit, which South Korean President Moon Jae-in said was like a miracle, is the latest step in a quickening detente. North and South Korea exchanged envoys as Pyongyang sent a delegation to South's Winter Olympics, which Seoul has dubbed the Peace Games. The thaw came after a period of extreme tension between Washington and Pyongyang that sounded like the growing drumbeat of war. Just months ago, Trump mocked Kim by calling him Little Rocket Man. Kim returned the favor by describing Trump as mentally deranged and a dotard. U.S. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson met Djibouti's Minister of Foreign Affairs Mahmoud Ali Yusuf during his visit to the Eastern African country today. Djibouti is home to the only permanent U.S. military base in Africa. China's development of its first overseas base just a few miles away has been cause for concern for the U.S., as is African nations' growing indebtedness to Beijing, which is building infrastructure across the continent. It's the second stop of Tillerson's six-nation Africa tour. Tillerson is the most senior U.S. official to set foot on the African continent since U.S. President Donald Trump took office more than a year ago. The Taliban launched a deadly hours-long assault on an army outpost in a remote region of Afghanistan's northern Takhar province late yesterday, killing 6 soldiers and wounding 5 others. Members of the local police who were sent to assist the soldiers were ambushed by the Taliban while on their way to the outpost in the remote district of Khwaja Ghar. A provincial police spokesman said 10 officers were killed and 9 were wounded in the ambush. A Taliban spokesman claimed responsibility for the assault and the ambush late yesterday. The British official in charge of public safety today visited the area in the English city of Salisbury, where a former Russian spy collapsed after he was targeted with an undisclosed nerve agent. Home Secretary Amber Rudd travelled to the Maltings area near where Sergei Skripal and his daughter were found slumped on a park bench on 4th of March. There she talked with the temporary Chief Constable of Wiltshire Police, the Member of Parliament representing the area, and local business owners. The UK has vowed to take strong action against whoever was responsible for the attack. A small group of Puerto Rican and international conservationists are working on rebuilding natural wonders destroyed by the strongest storm to hit the island in nearly a century. Environmental groups and volunteers are gathering native seeds to replant forests across the U.S. territory and grafting broken coral back onto shattered reefs to help repair damage in the largest ever effort of its kind for Puerto Rico. The Category 4 storm damaged 1.2 billion trees and snapped hundreds of thousands of corals off reefs around the island when it hit on September 20th. Puerto Rico is slowly regaining its footing after the storm, and initial funding has been secured. Conservationists are fanning out across the island and into its waters to repair and restore what's left of the island's flora. Puerto Rico's natural beauty is one of its biggest tourist draws. Experts also note that reefs protect coasts from heavy swells and serve as habitat for many species consumed on the island, including red snappers, lobsters, and octopi. Two emperor penguins wandering across Antarctica were captured on video posing for a selfie. The bird's-eye view vision was shot when Australian expeditioner Eddie Galt left the camera on the ice when visiting the oyster rookery near Australia's Mawson Research Station. The Australian Antarctic Division said it didn't take long for the naturally curious birds to seize the opportunity for a selfie. And now for the general weather forecast around the Sultanate. Clear skies will prevail over the Sultanate with chances of low clouds and fog late at night over the governorates of Dhahra and Al Braymi. Winds will be northerly to northwesterly light to moderate. Seas will be moderate to rough with a maximum wave height of 2.5 meters. This is the Sultanate of Oman television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. The Governorate of Musandam is the place of beauty and tranquility and the island of secrets and history. Food aid convoy enters Syria's eastern Ghouta as assault pauses. And Trump and Kim is to hold a historic meeting in May. With that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here at the newsrooms and the studios, it's good night.